Hello, dear friends. Good evening, good afternoon. Can you please tell me whether you can see and hear me well? Everything is green around you. I understand. Okay. Where's my beautiful flower? I was choosing the right angle to have it as a background. It's very good. Green. I like green. Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? Can you hear and see as well? Can you please feedback some information to us? Yes, I see a lot of tens. Sound and image quality is perfect. They like your ficus there. I have a palm tree. Palm tree, palm tree. Okay. As you understand from the title, we have some important news to share. Very, very important news. Yes, people are gathering here. Okay. In fact, I would like to add one note here before we really start. We're going to show and tell you a lot of interesting things. In fact, what we're going to share with you today is the result of all the work done in all those years. And when we walk towards something, we realize why we invested so much effort into it. And along the path, sometimes we come across things when we see and understand that we need to do something, go an extra mile to improve what we do. And all that work done makes sense after that when we see the result achieved. And today, what we are going to announce, I'm sure it will change the vector, will change the mindset, and many people will finally realize that we are on top here. We're not simply developing and launching stuff because we wanted to. No, we are deeply immersed into what is being developed, what is going on to understand how to make progress correctly. And we're prepared to hear and see what's going on around us. And the main idea that I need to share with you today is that there is a general understanding that we are fully and profoundly immersed into what we do, and some strategic decisions are made to make further progress for you to understand how we can make progress in this market, not to miss that great window of opportunity, not to be left behind, to be always trendy, because we have launched a very important trend in the past 2 years, and we can really capitalize on this trend and make everybody happy. So this is a small introduction from my side. It's like an intro part. Yes, intro. Maybe you, Alexi, has something to add. Well, in fact, I'm looking at a comment here. Valery is writing, if Alex is not wearing a cap, it's for serious. Then I put on the cap, they say, wow, you're too cool in cap. Okay, in fact, guys, intrigue is one thing, but now forget about intriguing. They say that I look better without the cap. Okay, I will remove it. I will lose the cap. I don't know what to start with, but the main idea is that we are getting ready for serious reorganization, good reorganization. Whatever changes that we're going to describe now, okay, scratch that. We're not going to start with the changes. We'll first of all share our first step along the path, and that first step already will draw a whole chain of changes. Why do we do this? In fact, the world is changing so quickly, especially in the IT sector. Things are changing so quickly that if we stick to the old plans, we'll miss a lot of good things. Today, for instance, there was a switch off. Have you encountered this? Click on the plus signs in chat if you have experienced some inaccessibility of some sites. Yes. In fact, I'd say one third of the global internet today is simply blacked out because of one single service. See a lot of plus signs here. Yes, people experienced it. Yes, they're starting. That's what Lucia is writing. Yes, plus signs, plus signs. Galina clicked on a minus sign. Galina, you're one of the very few that you're spending less time offline than online, including our site was having problems, but not DexNet site. Not DexNet site. In Kyrgyzstan, everything is normal, business as usual. Okay. Cloudflare, Singapore data center was switched off. The official reason for that was that there's some kind of maintenance in Singapore data center. But how many years I've been working with that service, I see it for the very first time. And this is a really big red flag. And we fail to notice these red flags. If we don't correct the company's development plans, then the company will be moving its own direction and the whole world its own direction, and it will end up eventually not really good. I will still shift it away because it's getting in my face. I showed you my palm tree, so forget about it. Now, we are making progress, to be honest. To be perfectly honest, we would like to make quicker progress. That's why we had originally plans to sell the first 2 million Dex notes. That's why we wanted to have it within the first 2 years, because we realized that within the first 2 years of the company's development, the whole global internet is going to prepare for something new. The same is true about power suppliers, power providers. Now they're testing the internet blackouts and power blackouts. If we were going at a slow pace as before, we would have failed eventually. That's why we need to keep reacting and testing the waters and be ahead of the changes, or try to be abreast of the changes that are happening quickly. We have a general understanding what other changes await us. So to be still trendy and not only be trendy, but also move along with the other trends, we're introducing certain changes. These are positive changes, so that to alleviate your fears, but quite unexpected ones. I know, Igor, maybe we can show the slides right away and then answer the questions. Yes, I'm starting to share. Eleni is writing, now there is a global reconnection. We are listening to galactic news. First important thing, guys, we are limiting the need in the nodes with only 20,000. So what's happening now? We have 8,000 DEX nodes. These are physical and virtual ones all together. And in fact, this number is not really replenished with information. So it makes sense to move forward through promotion of services. What does it mean? It means that we are inviting a very, very major company. We're onboarding them. I'm not going to name names now, but we already have general understanding about this, because anyway, you're still writing questions in the chat. When are you going to have your messenger or your own phone? Igor and I are smiling on the one hand. On the other hand, we can give you honest answer. So we feel uncomfortable not answering you these questions until we sign a contract, until we describe all the conditions. We simply cannot announce it live. Imagine a situation, for instance, it's not so, but as an example, say Google decided to onboard their resources in our DEX nodes, and we're in negotiations with them until we sign the contract with them, until we describe all the contractual arrangements. because there can be an NDA. NDA means we are not at liberty to describe some partnership arrangements, and before the contract is signed, we start telling everybody about it. And then we sign the contract, and the contract says there's an NDA. We're not supposed to tell about this. And there are many nuances and details in business doing and in negotiations. So we are forced sometimes, well, sometimes we really, really want to reveal or let you into our secrets, but we simply are not at liberty to do so. So basically, there is a very major service which is going to be onboarded on our nodes. It works with an important messenger, and it's not just a regular messenger. The architecture of that messenger is used by major state-owned organizations. A bit later, you'll be able to Google for it. I'm just giving you some hints. For instance, NATO is fully using this architecture. Igor, tell us, please. This is a German word. Bundeswehr. Yes, Bundeswehr is using this as well as a messenger. United States, uh, US Navy are also using this messenger. Ever since 2023, same architecture is in use by Polish military. In other words, this is so powerful and so strong that I'm not at liberty to openly announce it, but very soon you will learn about it. And what we have realized that when we make progress by classical method through the promotion of the cloud services at the rate that we develop, it will take us many, many more years, and we'll simply miss all these great opportunities that are passing us by and which will pop up in future because of the changes in internet architecture, because of the reconnections. So the first thing I have to share. I see Balatbek is already aware of what's going on here. Okay, let's not name names. We will show it a bit later, but Balatbek, you're making the right guesses here. So there will be a second very important slide I'm going to show. Okay, we announced the limitation on the number of nodes, 20,000 top. Why do we need to do that? Why did we decide to do it like this? We'll tell you a bit later, and what it can uh, deliver. There are three things at the bottom. So 8,000 nodes already sold. 2,000 nodes will remain until the X1 coin listing under the previous conditions. Only 2,000 available at this previous conditions. And after the listing, 10,000 more nodes will be available under new conditions. And you know the conditions about 15,000 coins, which are attached to the DEX node, 15,000 coins and everything else. After the listing, the other 10,000 will be sold under new conditions. So this is the most important thing you need to remember from this slide, that now the most interesting things start. And when we move to the next slide, we'll tell you why, how, and how it can contribute to the company and what can it deliver to every DEX node owner. This shifting of the vector brings only positive benefits. Everybody will be happy. After such an announcement, everybody now should understand that everything is changing for the better, because there is a general understanding how to move forward with the 20,000 DEX nodes that we'll have for many years ahead. And just as Alexei mentioned, he noticed a very important thing ever since now. Our focus, very importantly, our focus is not going to be, you saw it yourself. I don't need to tell you more about it. You saw it yourself that throughout all this time, in the past 2 years, we were focusing on building this infrastructure and dissemination of as many DEX nodes as possible. We might have missed some important things because although we did realize that that's the kind of market we work in, you need to run X10, 10 times quicker than the whole world to catch up with the world. So we don't want to miss this opportunity to be part of it. part of this trend. On the other hand, we are switching the focus from the dissemination and sales of DEX nodes on the focus of building the whole ecosystem, which we already have many developed things in the ecosystem which can already benefit you. So we are focusing now on the ecosystem itself and on building the services and improvement and launch of the services which can already work based on the infrastructure that we have deployed. I hope that I've said it right, that the main focus now will be on the ecosystem and the services and the products. And ever since then, the vector of everything we do will change drastically because the services will start working really powerfully. They will start to grow and develop. And this way, we'll be able to build bigger, more robust ecosystem. And what we have already, the 8,000 DEX nodes that we have, they're not put to good use in the format that we originally expected for them. And that is why we decided to change the vector of our development where we can use what we already have by bringing more benefit to everybody. So this is the very first important thing, that we are shifting the focus towards the ecosystem. It's bringing maximum benefits for all, because this way our service will scale up quickly and we'll be able to focus on building the whole ecosystem and on the value of ecosystem and the coin and token. Second thing, also important. Alexei started talking about this. Alexei, if I missed something, you please continue about the cloud, that we are going to use cloud as an integration for different products, because it is important to understand. Many people want to use it in a standard version of like a cloud storage, right? But we see a different kind of solution how it can be used through integration. And it can deliver more benefits and capitalization right here and now. Why should we wait for later when we have 100,000 terabytes and we'll onboard one client? We already can onboard plenty of clients, and Alexei already mentioned this powerful client who will bring a lot of benefits to our ecosystem. In other words, yes, thank you, Igor. In other words, we're introducing the limitation of 20,000 DEX nodes. It simply means that until we fill up all 20,000 DEX nodes by resources, be it computing and cloud storage, we're not going to sell 2,000, 20,001 or 20,000 first or 20,000 second nodes. Now we already have sold 8,000 DEX nodes. Another 2,000 will be sold at the previous conditions when with the airdrop up to 15,000 DEX X1 coins. After that, we'll have 10,000 more nodes, which will be sold under different conditions. And it's more likely that they will focus on crypto communities. All of this has great benefit for us as a company and for DEX node holders who already own DEX nodes. What is the benefit for us as a company? We are not pumping up the numbers of DEX nodes to credit more and more tokens. That's one wing of our business system. Another wing of our ecosystem is the use of computing powers, and the cloud will be able to develop in a better way. This way we'll have two equal wings. Otherwise, there will be more lopsided one wing. And it could have been accepted if the number of deployed nodes were much greater. Then we'll be able to onboard much bigger clouds to the cloud, bigger clients to the cloud. But because our wings are not developed in the same size or proportionally, so now we are going to put in the second wing not the cloud as storage cloud, but rather through services. Now we are onboarding a service which will fill up quite a number of DEX nodes, like thousands and thousands of DEX nodes will be replenished. Until that happens, until all 20,000 DEX nodes are charged up, we're not going to open the new sales. Second thing, the likelihood of opening the sales of other 10,000 or 20,000 will have 20,000 accounts, 20,000 owners of Dex nodes, maybe not 20,000 because some people own two or three Dex nodes. I'm just counting it as 20,000 accounts in my head. So if at certain moment in time we realize that we had have reached the limit of the cloud, then we'll be able to upgrade S3 through data centers. You will be able to connect not 1 TB, but 1.5 TB and have not one, but 1.5 DEX rate. Then with even existing community after 20,000 accounts, we'll be able to scale it up to, of course, sensible size. Because if we hit the ceiling then and realize that we need to have more nodes deployed, of course, we'll launch the sales of some new DEX nodes. But even what we have calculated now with 500 validators, Igor and I calculated it, we can already get something like 7 billion transactions in blockchain. As an example, Binance Smart Chain now has a bit more than 10 billion transactions in what? In how many years? 8 years. And considering the scope of that blockchain, you need to understand this is blockchain number one in the world, and they have 10 billion transactions. Even with 500 validators, we can easily move towards 7 billion transactions. When we hit the ceiling of 7 billion, we'll already have plans what to do next to have 70 or 700 billion. Now, we decide to limit ourselves to 20,000 DEX nodes. Another 2,000 will be sold at under older conditions, previous conditions, and then we'll sell 10,000 more under new conditions and community here. For us, the benefit is clear. Yes, on the one hand, we haven't sold more DEX nodes than we originally planned. We haven't generated enough funds for the company. That can be a downside, but on the upside, we are not disseminating more and more tokens without putting enough pressure on the second wing. When both wings are moving at the same time, then this business becomes more stable. Two wings. First wing is the use of the memory cloud and its computation power, and second wing is the expansion of this computation capacity and the cloud itself. So we'll be limiting ourselves to 20,000 nodes. That gives the users to make much more money with the reward pool. Because how this reward pool is replenished will be disseminated among 20,000 accounts instead of 40,000 or 100,000 or a million. So we also see it as a great benefit. One thing to add here, by focusing on ecosystem, we as a company, by inviting more services for the development of ecosystem, we add more utilities to the coin and tokens. And this way will reinforce quite briskly the reward pool, which will be replenished by the fees charged for the services, and this reward pool will grow in a very good dynamics because the services will focus on this totally, because we realize that we have 20,000. We're not going to focus on that. The emission will be huge and will really wake up whoever is on the crypto market. They understand that they either choose to be part of this 10,000 and get constant benefit and reward from that, because this reward pool will always be paid out with certain rewards, and this pool will always grow because we are focusing on ecosystem, and this way services will develop and people will capitalize on the coin and token utilities, and will pay out whatever rewards we generate, or only distribute them only among the 20,000 users, not among 1 million or 2 million, and now only among 20,000 nodes. So whoever ends up in this 20,000 nodes will get this reward, and this is great because this reward largely depends on our services. And we found a genius solution here, how to integrate the cloud solution, because for us, It took quite a while to think and invent, especially Alexei. It was the thought that occupied all his um, thinking, how to use the existing cloud storage. We found those services, how to be integrated through services to make sure that this cloud makes money already now. And this way would earn money for the company and others. So it's super great, I think. And whoever owns the DexNode now, you already ended up in this first 20,000 number, and all other people who will use this opportunity will be part of the system, will get rewards from generated and distributed through the blockchain X1 and other decentralized system. Yes, friends, please share with us, ranging from 1 to 10, whether you understand the company strategy now. When 10 means I understood everything, 1, I haven't understood anything. And second, 100 to 1000, when you assess it as mega positive, 1000 is mega positive. 100, I don't think it's good. Can you rank it 100 to 1000? Yes, a lot of thousands. Yes, people have a general understanding. That's great. And there are questions as well. Okay, dear friends, we still have about half an hour, maybe a bit more. Last time, remember, we had a quick time, so we promised to answer all your questions today. Let's try to do it. Let's do the Q&A now. Thank you. Thank you, Vasily. It's really a lot of people really realize that it's super beneficial. It was important for us to share our emotions with you because take my word for it, when we saw this picture, when we put it on the slide, we realized that this is super cool to understand that we finally found the capitalization profit center, that we can make money as a technology, as a company, without waiting for a larger number of nodes distributed. So the world is changing so quickly, everything is changing cardinally every day, every hour. And now we're going to catch this wave and use our technological prowess to make progress. There are many things we cannot share with you, but we are going to be integrated with other blockchains as well based on the same technology. It will be really cool when you will hear some names and iterations of services and so on, because it's going to be very powerful leap and impulse for everything that we do here. Okay, shall we start with the questions? Yes, let's start with the questions. I'll scroll it back to the beginning because there were some questions before this. Thousands. Bagheera is writing, we're going to assess your notes. Sergey Ivanovich, what will happen to tokens and coins? Everything will be great, even better than before. In fact, I believe that either at the next AMA or later we'll share some other ideas about tokens and coins. I'm sure you will enjoy them. Some insiders information. I keep my mouth shut. See, next AMA session will contain some additional insider information. Just remember that. You can await a lot of changes for the better. Alexander is writing, I have two nodes. Can I move nodes from one account to another? In theory, you can do this, but it's so difficult. If you can live with what you have, please try to live with that. If it's really unbearable for you, go to the tech support, we'll think about it. But it's not really easy because it encounters the whole other link of actions. So the value of node is growing up. Konstantin is writing, so listing will happen after the sale of 2000 nodes only? No. These are not two related things. We sell 2000 nodes and we are moving at our own pace towards listing. First important thing, a listing is getting delayed a bit. The probability that listing will happen this year has been minimized. I will explain why. First, we need to finish up our work with validators, and the good news is that we have less than 100 validators to be connected. The last number that I had in the morning, that 412 validators have been connected. But this is not the main stopping us that creates some delay in listing. No, the main thing is that we need to complete the audit of blockchain. Basically, if we created token on the existing blockchain, it's super easy. It's enough to audit the smart contract that we have, for instance, with DexNet token, and that's it. We list it at the exchange, but we have our own blockchain, new one, the only like this in the world. So the technical procedure of blockchain integration into blockchain, before we integrate blockchain, we need to audit blockchain. To do the blockchain audit, we need to be in Mainnet, or at least about to be in Mainnet, about to enter Mainnet. When we have tested everything internally, we're prepared to click on the button Mainnet. We look at the audit. Maybe they will find something there because we're all live people and our program developers are live people, and audit, security audit is very important for somebody professional to look at it from another angle at our code and find some bugs in it. To correct those bugs, we will need some additional time, and only after that, together with audit, we'll start listing on exchange. So there might be some further delay. What will happen earlier? I don't know. Maybe 2,000 nodes will be sold before the end of the year. It's quite possible because they're both physical and virtual ones. Speaking about the speed of sale of virtual nodes is much quicker than physical node sale. We were selling 6,000 physical nodes for 2 years, and we sold 2,000 virtual DEX nodes in just 2 months. It's a totally different type of speed. So there's expectation that this 2,000 remaining nodes will be sold before the end of the year, and the listing will start early next year. It's unlikely that we'll do the listing this year, or other way around. Maybe 2,000 nodes will sell longer and the listing will happen earlier. Bagheera, we are flying up with 2,000 DEX nodes exactly. When are you planning to list DexNet's on other exchanges? Let's talk about it a bit later. There are more burning issues at the moment. To approach other exchanges, you need to approach them with communities. Exchanges don't like when we bring a token to them with a small community. We need to manage our coin story here. Alice is writing, what's happening with virtual nodes? Are they part of this? Yes, they are part of this. That's 20,000 of both virtual and physical nodes. No, doesn't matter what we sell more, virtual or physical ones. Now 2,000 based on under old conditions or previous conditions, up to 15,000 airdrop, coin airdrop, then 10,000 more. It will be a mix of both virtual and physical DEX nodes. Doesn't matter. Dobre is writing, I have virtual node professional. Will it be possible to pump it up further to get more tokens? Not in the first iteration. You can buy another professional DEX nodes, but in the other iteration, when all the 20,000 DEX nodes memory space will be filled up, then we'll upgrade virtual nodes. It will be easier to do that. Secondly, we will upgrade the physical nodes. They have USB 3.0 that can be connected to external SSD disk for 1 terabyte, and this way expand its memory up to 8 terabytes. Actually, the pool, the hardware in our DEX nodes recognizes 8 terabyte disks, and they can be expanded by this size. Sergey Ivanovich, 20,000 hardware nodes or virtual ones, both. Mikhail, what about promos after November? Let us live until the end of November, then we'll wait and see. I guess there won't be any promos because we need to sell 20,000 first, and then we'll be totally focused on services and their promotion. The idea with the rewards for 20,000 nodes is super cool. Yes, I agree. Konstantin says everything. Okay. Anton, upgrade to 1.5 terabytes. How is it going to work with physical nodes? With physical nodes through the expansion of the external SSD disk. Tatiana is writing, it's great that we are already owners of nodes, and it means that we are part of the chosen crowd. Yes, I congratulate everybody who owns the Dex node. You already hit the jackpot. You already caught the last trade. There is still a possibility to buy into the remaining 12,000 nodes. If I buy 20 minimal nodes and after selling 20,000 all of together, will I be able to upgrade them? Yes, you'll be able to upgrade them. An important thing here, important thing. Upgrade to have it at the previous condition. If you buy Dex node now, to upgrade your DEX nodes up under previous conditions, you need to do it before X1 coin listing, because after X1 coin, if you upgrade them, the upgrade will work under new conditions. So it's important to upgrade it. If you buy it now, you need to upgrade them before the listing. Then you will enjoy the previous conditions. After the listing, new conditions. Thank you, Igor. I see tens, some fire signs, emojis. Numbers. Wow, quite a number of numbers. And I'm only saving up my tokens, Victor is writing. Irina, which node is best to buy, virtual or physical one? Everything depends on your preference, Irina. It's like what's better to buy, Samsung or iPhone? You can argue forever about this. In principle, what is the difference? Virtual node, you don't have to install it at home. You don't need to wait for the delivery, but you will have to pay for the renting of the space of data center, depending on the size of memory space used. The most expensive version will be up to 20,000, I'm sorry, $20 per month, but it will come much later because now load memory space is not used, so nobody's paying anything. Then initial load will be coming. It will be distributed among physical nodes first of all. So we fill up all 6,000 physical nodes. Then this load will be going to virtual nodes. And virtual nodes, the higher the load, the higher is the payment in data center. Initially, you will pay, say, $1 or 50 cents per month. But the higher the load, the more disk space is used. And when the whole network will be fully replenished with memory banks are fully filled, and so basically when all 20,000 X nodes are replenished, then you'll start to pay at the peak level. Speaking about physical nodes, you don't have to pay for data centers monthly, but the Dex node, you need to wait for it. When it comes to you, you need to connect it and make sure that it is connected to power outlet and internet. If something is missing, either power supply or internet, then your dex rate goes down and you get less number of tokens. More questions. I always felt that it's going to happen like this. It's super news. Jean Balat is writing. Each one will get bigger share of the pie. Yes, exactly, Tatiana. I already am waiting for it. Some people believe into it, some don't believe, some people work or don't work with that. Okay, we launched 20,000 nodes and we are taking off. Our everybody's on board. We buckle up and we're flying. But when we are airborne, it's hard to join the crew. Then that's what people start to feel FOMO. Salam alaikum. Give me some time to breathe in and breathe out. Okay, I'm looking for questions. Sergey Ivanovich, we're moving towards money or away from money? Sergey, we're moving towards money, for sure. Right now, we're going to focus on money because we built the foundation already and we are prepared to monetize and capitalize on what we have built. In our DexNet, there will be some major messenger and they will pay for the rent. On our DexNet, there will be a major messenger We have been testing it already for now a few months. Igor and I are using this, but it's still a secret information. After full integration, the messenger will make their own announcement. So far, it's all covered by NDAs, but the word messenger is okay to. I was allowed to use this word today, and where this architecture is used. Also, I didn't break any NDAs here, but it's the maximum of the hint that I could tell you. Although Alan Beck already leaked this information. Baurjan, I just joined you. I still don't understand anything. It's okay, Baurjan, you will. Hi, Alexei and Igor. Under this prospect, will I be able to upgrade virtual nodes? Yes, you will, just like Igor described. What about virtual nodes? Everything is good. How many nodes need to be bought to make sure that in the next 3, 5 years to get $10,000 every month? Vitaly, my answer to you will be, you know, uncertain. It might be one node would be enough, maybe 10 DEX nodes, maybe 100. It's hard to tell because there are too many variables in this formula to give you an exact number. Victor is writing, I wish that all your words come true. 20,000 nodes will be bought up within a year, year and a half. Because of the logistics, everything is happening much quicker. Everybody will be looking at this now because a limited edition is always very tasty and attractive for people. And then everybody understands that they are going to be part of this number. It will always be paid from the reward pool. Only these people will be paid the reward. Zoom user is writing, I'm really shocked. We are among the first and it's super cool. 20,000 shares of Web 4.0. You could say so, yes. Evgeny, what is the minimal tax rate allowable for validation node to get rewards for the confirmation of transactions in blockchain? Evgeny, it is not related to tax rate. Tax rate is used exclusively for the cloud. With the validation node, everything is quite straightforward. When at the moment of validation, your Dex node is online, it has subscribed or it has underwritten the block. If you're and it gets paid. If other nodes underwrite the block, then they get paid. You don't need any Dex rate for that. Under this condition, can I switch off a large antenna from the Dex node? You see, Dmitry, just like in that story about flip side to this coin, large antennas are not used now with the Dex node. Large antenna is used only if next to you, under 5 kilometers as the bird flies, there is another DEX node. Unfortunately, our DEX nodes are not deployed so densely. So this antenna is not really used. But if I tell you disconnect it, and at a certain moment in time, we all of a sudden decide that it makes sense to use LoRa DEX nodes, and by that time everybody will switch off their large antennas, then we'll be waiting forever until they reconnect them. So if it doesn't bother you, keep it. If it's bothering you, you can disconnect it. I was told about the cloud. So what was the final decision? The decision was used to use the cloud in services. In other words, now in the morning, there was a negotiation on the collaboration with another blockchain. A blockchain also wants to use the computation powers of our DEX nodes, not only the cloud. And we realized that it doesn't make sense to wait until we grow big enough to onboard somebody big. Moreover, if we grow big ourselves, it doesn't simply mean that at the same moment in time we'll be able to onboard other clients, because large corporate clients who we hinted at with Igor, they're not just some big companies. There is no chance to let them down. Let's say if we install, say, 50,000 DEX nodes, great. we are onboarding a large client, and some of those nodes show instability, this is not enough. It's somewhere we'll have some delays with the access to data and something else. It's on we cannot allow it to happen. And to onboard large clients without testing this cloud with the small clients first would be insensible or silly. That's why what we do, the smaller clients are not using or don't want to use the cloud in the classical sense of the cloud, but they have services that require, say, the placement of database, and the database can be deployed in a decentralized cluster, or like a messenger whenever they're having message exchange or voice messages or file exchange. All of it requires some space, and if they store it in classical servers, they're vulnerable. If they store it in our cloud, they increase the security. And for such services, it's not, the information is not so sensitive. What I mean is, let's say somewhere power was cut off, blacked out. In the whole country, we lost, say, 20% of our nodes there. They have some sensible information of a corporate client there, and they don't have access to that information. Like with Cloudflare now, within what, 20, 30 minutes, people had no access to the sites. Try to imagine, and the corporate client doesn't have access for 20, 30 minutes to the sensitive information. It spells out the death of their business. The same is true about the messenger. When I send a photo to Igor, this photo is stored in my messenger, next in Igor's cell phone, in a decentralized cloud as well. And if at a certain moment in time, within 20 minutes of time, there is no access to this photo, nobody will die because of this. Moreover, very few people will notice, because I have this photo in my messenger and Igor has it in his messenger. Only if I install messenger with the same account on a new device and I need to copy the history of our messages, only then. But it's still not critical. I will download it, say, 20 minutes from now. That's why we decided to do it with less critical applications and onboard those services who will be using computation powers and disk storage capacity of our DEX nodes, but they will store the rather not sensitive information, where when we haven't deployed enough DEX nodes, we haven't united them through LoRaWAN large antennas. So internet goes down, power goes down, but power goes down, it doesn't matter. You can connect it to power bank. Internet goes down. Okay, part of our DEX nodes are not part of a cluster anymore. That's why we decided to do like this. Hopefully, I've answered your question. Alex is writing, X1 coin listing is going to happen after selling 2,000 nodes. I've already answered before. They're not connected. Thank you. We need to look into it. Good evening, Alexei and Igor. I received message about the card. So basically, it's not going to work in China, right? Ayat, I cannot answer this question to you. Ayat is quite a closed down country. Many things don't work in China. I'm not prepared to answer this question. Hello, everyone. Igor and Alexei, and everybody in the chat. I have a question. Tell us, please, if the modem itself loses Wi-Fi and internet, but the DEX node is connected to it, is it going to continue working? Unfortunately not, because DEX node through internet, not even Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi doesn't matter. If it is disconnected, it doesn't matter. Most importantly, your router, your cable must have internet, which is connected to DEX node. Then DEX node will have internet. If internet goes down, then DexNet cluster will lose connection as well. Jean Balat, the remaining 12,000 DEX nodes can be quickly sold, and through the reward pool will make more money. Exactly, Jean Balat. Very important thing that 12,000, 2,000 DEX nodes will be sold until the listing, right? Under the previous conditions. So not all 12,000, but 2,000 before listing on the previous conditions, and the remaining 10,000 after listing will be sold at under new conditions. Please understand this. Anton, because of this news, when on the average can we expect the launch of Mainnet? Anton, we're still planning it for this year, but take it with a grain of salt. This is our internal deadline. It might be different. To be honest, as a manager, I was not supposed to reveal any internal deadlines for you, just for your understanding, just to keep you on the same frequency. We have our internal expectations, which might not come true. They might be delayed because of the development, because this development is related to the legal arrangements and the auditing and integration of the blockchain to the exchange. Aijan, okay, don't reveal all the information, just one bit at a time. Exactly. Alex, if the virtual node was bought for, for DexNet upgrade, now upgrade is in USDT, but once upgrade could be done with tokens when there was a promo for the tokens. I'm happy that I'm with you. Zoom user is writing. Peter is writing 1000% clear and understandable. The flexibility of the company, logic wins. Yes, we could have been stubborn and make progress in the old way. Yes, we need to buy 1 million DEX nodes. My grandchildren will be talking about 1 million DEX nodes if we already can onboard major clients. We just need to increase it to 20,000 and we can work with services only. You don't have to have a headache about expansion of the cloud. We'll start onboarding services who are using decentralized cloud, but not for such sensitive information because those uh, cataclysms that the whole world will be torn apart with, it is just starting. It's not warmed up yet. Ruslan. And the next AMA will happen next Thursday. Well, actually, we are planning the next MA for the next Tuesday, but I'm not sure that we'll prepare any news for that time. We'll announce it in our official chats. Igor, if now you sell for 2,000 Dex notes in 1 month, and the other people willing to buy this 2,000 notes, are you going to sell them? What about other 2000? Are you going to sell it under the old conditions? No, not under old conditions. We'll sell under the previous conditions. Only the 2000. Other 10,000 will be sold under new conditions. Vasily, most importantly, that you're also positive and you charge us with your positive emotions and you give us belief into our bright future. Yes, Vasily, feeling is mutual because the feedback we receive from you supports us a lot. Bitcoin is going down. DexNet is going to survive this? Of course, we're going to survive this, no problem. We already told you that there's no correlation with Bitcoin. And if there is, it's not so big as nowadays when we see the drop of the market. Guys, you're cool. Great news. Are you sleeping at all? I sometimes sleep. Igor loses most of it. Edward, hello. If I remember correctly, first Dex nodes were designed for 2 terabytes. It means that you don't need to upgrade them. That's right, Edward. We have about 1,000 Dex nodes with 2 terabytes installed memory. Then you don't need to upgrade them. And some of them actually became validation nodes, and it's great. That's exactly what we need. Alex V said that, to be honest, I'm totally disappointed. Maybe Alex, for you. Maybe you counted on something else. I'm sorry for not meeting your expectations, Vasily Chikh. Good evening, distinguished managers. Early in DexNet 1, we could see the backstory of transactions. Now I cannot see them. Can you please correct this bug so that we could see the transactions for the previous periods? There should be pagination with numbers where you can page through different numbers, and I will ask moderators to have a screenshot of this message from Vasily and verify that it is true. Venera. Okay. What about our billion DEX nodes? First, not your, but our billion DEX nodes. Venera, question for you. How did you help us sell billion DEX nodes based on your nickname? You have done very little. Victor is writing. So the sale of, oh, a purchase of notes will become a promo in itself. Exactly. 20,000 going to sell easy. How many nodes do I need to buy per one account? Please, guys, don't buy too many Dex nodes per one account because it's vulnerability. If you want to buy five, two, three, I know it's enough, but don't buy 50 or 100 because such proposals come in. It gives a lot of vulnerability to the system. Big portion of the cluster owned by the same person. It's too hazardous. What about X1 coins? Are you going to pay out reward pools in X1 coins as well? Now X1 coins uh, distributed through airdrops. If you buy virtual nodes, we still have 2,000 of them on offer. They include X1 coin airdrop. Aida, Alexei, I haven't connected a validation DEX node from block to blockchain. I was offered two options. First, to set up software through the remote program, remote access program, or send back my DEX node to either Dubai or Czech Republic for reinstallation. Is there any other way? No, there is no other way. Unfortunately, we still have about 100 problematic DEX nodes in terms of their blockchain connection. So try to do it either through the remote access software installation, and specialists will be doing it in front of you. I assure you it's fully safe. Or another option is to send the DEX node either to Dubai or Czech Republic, and the team can reinstall the software. Yes, the DEX node value is growing up after selling 2,000 nodes. In case of the physical node goes faulty, will there be a problem with the replacement? No problem with the replacement. For that, we always have some backup supply of DEX nodes. We understand there can be all sorts of situations when it gets broken, goes faulty. What about old DEX nodes? Are they going to be upgraded, updated? Yes, they will be updated. Sometimes we roll out updates for old DEX nodes. No, the meaning is that when they will have to expand their memory space. Meaning upgraded. Yes, they can be upgraded. For that, using easy words, you can go to online shop and buy external SSD disk. We'll share some technical requirements to make it to make sure that it's fully compatible. It's not really expensive. They would cost about $150, and you'll be able to use. By old, you mean old physical nodes, you can upgrade them, but you still have a while to wait for that because we need first to fill up 20,000 nodes with enough memory space. It will take more than a year for sure. Alexander Sanian, let's say collective pool for community to organize closed private communication and within community. Is there an option to do that? Alexander, an ideal option would be to use our LoRa connection. We tested this connection in Dubai with tall buildings, and we had 3 kilometers, 100 meters, when without any internet, without Wi-Fi, without mobile communication, we maintained text messaging through the functions inbuilt into our DEX nodes. And if a person with a strange nickname wrote to us, where is your promised 1 billion DEX nodes? If we had 1 billion nodes disseminated, then it would be very easy to launch our alternative messenger for phones. The phone is synchronized with the DEX node. You don't need neither internet, Wi-Fi, or anything else. You get access to different services within this architecture. But see, we are forced to make some categorical decisions sometimes directed at resilience and scalability of the company, because this is the matter of my life. I live this, and this is too much of a responsibility to then say that, well, it didn't happen. Sorry. No, we're making progress, and until there is a possibility to make progress, we'll do that. Aijan is writing 20,000 nodes is not 1 billion. We'll sell it easy. Yes, how much for one DEX node? Alexander Sanian is writing. You can go to the guys who invited you to today's presentation because there's a range of different options. So it starts from 1800, ending with 250. at the lowest rate. And virtual nodes, they're placed on whose service? They're not our nodes, no, not our nodes. Virtual nodes are placed, deployed on the service of different data centers and different continents at that. And the access to the account of virtual node is owned only by you. That's why we are disseminating them. It would have been much simpler if we could open a dozen of accounts in different data centers in different continents and leave there, say, 100 terabytes in each account or each data center. But then it creates more vulnerability. I exclude any human factor. I trust my team, of course, but neither I nor my team must have no opportunity to affect or tamper with the system. Before New Year, we'll sell 12,000. It's quite ambitious, Bagheera. Elmira is writing 20,000 will be sold until the end of November. Even more ambitious than previous one. Mikhail, good evening. Addition and expansion of services in the blockchain, does it affect the launch time for Mainnet? It's not critical, not critical. It reinforces the ecosystem for sure. It strengthens and bolsters the blockchain platform, but to a certain extent, it can push it up somehow. When we see quite a big number of projects who really want us to go into mainnet, then we'll have to speed it up. They will push us to make it quicker. Igor is starting with the marketing part, and I always am focused on technical part. My answer was about the technical part, whether there's any effect. Almira's writing blockchain is going to be launched before. That was a question. Is blockchain going to be launched before New Year? We are waiting hard for that. You cannot imagine how we would wait for that. It is indeed a very important thing after the launch of the very first nodes when the network started. The second um, main priority for us was the launch of the blockchain. We're still waiting for this. Nobody launches blockchain twice. So we need to do it once and do it correctly. So it's super important for us. We do everything possible to make sure we do it within the time frame and the expectations that we have. Leonid Photo is writing, after listening to you, my mood goes up. After then I visit my Dex notes and I see that I receive 14 to 16 tokens and my mood goes down. Then I enter XT exchange and my uh, mood goes even lower than that. I thought that if node could make $5 to $10 per day, then 20,000 nodes would be sold out in 1 year. I understand, Leonid. I understand your mood, your sensitivity, and but please take it with some understanding. Not everything. Rome wasn't built in a day. First of all, yes, Rome wasn't built in a day. Secondly, it's too early for us to be in a bad mood. We haven't even started yet. I think that very soon you'll be really happy as soon as it reaches its logical culmination. Yes, okay, I'm not going to go deeper into that. Okay, moving on. Aijan, I think we're moving towards really big money. When the service is going to be launched after selling 20,000 or 10,000 nodes? If you're about the messenger, then we're already in the stage of integration. Are you going to add anything? I'm just saying soon, soon. Okay. Good evening. There is rumor that Russia is going to block out the internet. If it happens, it's going to be in the way of the work of physical nodes. At the previous MS session, people asked this question, what will happen to DEX nodes? Let me answer it like this. Is it going to complicate the work of nodes who are physically located in Russia? Yes, it will make the operation more difficult. Is it going to be a total block for their operation? No. Vladimir Ilyin, can we unite virtual nodes that I already bought or they work separately. For instance, I have two Dex nodes, 250 each. Can I merge them into one for 500? Technically, it cannot be done. It's better to upgrade both of them to 500. Anastasia, Arlova, Alexei, Igor, good evening. Because of the most recent news about the um, blockout of service and internet all over the world. Now, this is the kind of news. 2 years ago, it was just conspiracy theory, and now it's part of our daily news. So how our physical nodes going to be in online if we limit ourselves by the number of 20,000 nodes? Explain, please, because this way, I'm curious what kind of node I should buy, physical or virtual one. I'm proud to be part of this great project. I don't know how to answer it correctly. I will start by answering the last part. Blockout of internet. We understand that this will happen. We are prepared for that. That's why we're saying that Dex nodes will deploy only insensitive information. I mentioned it based on the example 15 minutes ago. If some country decides to block or black out internet, it will happen. Countries are going to block out fully internet, not only mobile internet, but Wi-Fi, land-based internet. But it will not happen like it is blacked out and we go back to the cave age. No, they block out and they switch it on again 1 hour after that, 6 hours after that, 1 day from now. But they activate it again. It's not going to happen at the same time all over the world, at least now, not now. It will happen once in one country and other times in a second country, then they deactivate it. So don't worry about that. Now, about virtual nodes or physical nodes, which to choose. Look, Cloudflare named as the official reason why they went down because they did some maintenance work in the Singapore data center. Let's try to imagine that the Singapore data center was fully switched off for 20 minutes. That's just my fantasy. I don't think it happened, but I'm just fantasizing that the data center was fully disconnected. If our virtual nodes were in that data center for the technology, we would have no losses because the copies of that fragments of the encrypted container are stored not only in the Singapore data center, but also elsewhere, at least in two other data centers on two other continents. So it's not a problem. We make copies and transfer them to some fourth data center. And the copying of fragments from one data center to another is happening at lightning speed, 1,000 times quicker than it's happening between two DEX nodes because your home-based internet and data center internets have totally different speeds. Data center speeds are much quicker. So if it happened, then yes, there would be the drop in DEX rate. There would be some delay, but then it would have rectified. If it is your home-based DEX node, so far they're disconnecting only mobile internet, and major disconnections will happen only with mobile internet to make sure that, like during COVID-19 pandemic, people would return back to their apartments, would not be walking around in the streets. It's a little hint why it's happening. So with a home-based internet, so far there will not be any problems with the Wi-Fi. It will happen later. So if you had a physical DEX node, your DEX rate would go down if your home internet goes down. I told you about both virtual and physical nodes, but it is up to you to decide what choice to make. Because if I publicly announce now or focus on one of the choices, then there will be a bias of our sales to another side, and then our model will break down because we need both physical and virtual nodes. We already have a lot of physical nodes. Based on the physical nodes, we can already do a lot of great things with the virtual nodes. Alexei, how nodes will coexist with DexPoint? So far, it will use the same thing as before. We'll dump on the DexPoint whatever we store there. Can some secret services affect the messenger developer to get a hold of the infrastructure of the server where the messenger is hosted? If messenger were hosted on the server? Of course, yes. But that's the general idea. Try to reach out to the developer of Bitcoin. See what I'm talking about. If even if you reach out far enough to the DexNet developer, if I really want to, I cannot disconnect the whole network. I need to call each owner of DexNode and ask them, "Can you please disconnect your DexNode?" And the person will say, "Forget it. I'm earning the tokens for that. I'm not going to disconnect it." So there is no way they can reach out to the server or the hosting because there is no server and there is no hosting. So, and that's why we use DexNodes. So the prospects of the connection of DexNodes through the satellite, is it still uh, viable? Who is that? Vladimir. Vladimir, what did you hear? This leak in a somewhat different format than you suggest, maybe, but it is possible to reconnect DexNodes to the satellite connect uplink. It's more true about blockchain than the DexNodes. Borjan is asking, are you going to give coins to the old DexNode holders? The existing infrastructure continues to work like before. If something changes, we'll announce it. Maybe we'll make you happy with the new announcements. Thank you, Katerina. Thank you. You're so great. With Godspeed, may everything happen just like you promise. Will there be, will it be a commercial messenger? Well, let's say, Pavel, that now it is a closed messenger. You cannot download it from any app stores. It is a communication means used by high level organizations. This is not the kind of messenger where you can go to the Play Market or App Store, download it, and use it. No. But it's quite possible that our community would want to use it. Like Igor and I are using it, and our staff start using this messenger as well. Over the past 1 month, all of us are using this messenger exclusively. All the whole company's communication, top management, non-top management, for all people is happening through this messenger. But there will be some marketing strategies, and I believe that there will be an opportunity to use this messenger. We will provide this opportunity to our community. To answer your question, I'm sure that such kind of messenger will never be distributed for free, but subsequently we'll announce it. At least this messenger needs to make some money to use DexNodes. Let's move on. Yersin Beck next. It's a super cool fire sign, our new firefighter, and it will be unreachable for the competition. Welcome on board DexNet and DexFreedom. Okay, maybe won't call it fighter. We are not going to fight anything. Well, let's call it dirigible, maybe. Dmitry Kuznetsov, hello. I don't understand your ideas, Alexei, that if access to DexNet cluster will go down for 20, 30 minutes, that it's the end of business. It's the end of our business. Now, the whole data center went down for 20, 30 minutes. I don't think that any business died. He's writing, okay, one example, Dmitry. Imagine that you have integrated 1S database of your company into our service. I don't know whether you have used one. Have you used cloud service of Amazon? And you keep your accountants, all your accounts are there. All your financial statements are kept in the database of Amazon, say. And you are quite happy with this database. It's quite stable, I think. And then one day we come, Igor and I, you transferred that database to our cloud. And there's a thing when for 20, 30 minutes you cannot get access to your data. No matter what I tell you, that, this is because Russia raised a new firewall with updates and cut off a few hundreds of DEX nodes who are working on that. you're not going to find it interesting. You'll return back to Amazon. So imagine that there is some major client. I know, a major client. Of course, they will come and say, we ran into additional losses because of you. And they're going to make us pay up for these liabilities. So sure enough, no business might die physically, but the business of Cloudflare was undermined by the recent blackout. Guys, have you started the buyback? We haven't started the buyback, have we, Igor? Where's the question? Peter wrote it. Have you started buyback? Ah, that's about the 17th of buying back the token. There is some delay. We're going to buy it back with batches, not an automatic way. Thank you for your question. Jean Balat, what will happen to distributors companies? Well, you need to address your question to distributors companies. How much more time will airdrop be available from companies depending on what will happen earlier? 2000 nodes sold out or will start the listing? Well, X1 coin airdrop, the algorithm will continue working with tokens. It will work forever. The reward pool will always be there. It will always grow. Yuri, have you started the buyback procedure on the exchange? We are preparing the functionality, but we're still lagging behind, so we're going to do it manually. We're going to do the buyback manually. The buyback system of tokens on the 17th of November, has it been launched? I've already answered that. Ijan, guys, there is only 2000 DEX nodes left with the best conditions ever. Exactly. Balat, good evening. You promised blockchain listing this September. How do you explain it? We've been explaining it throughout the whole AMA session. That's why I don't like naming dates, because then it's taken like a promise. Like I personally promised Balat to launch it in September. And when we get questions like this, I feel uncomfortable. Let's do it once again. Why not September? To launch listing in September, we need to start Mainnet. To start the Mainnet, we need to connect all 500 validators and test them. To connect all 500 validators, we need all 500 to be operational. Now we have 412 operational validators, 300 were connected quite quickly. Others require some additional, playing with the Russia-based or Italy-based firewalls, and we need to try to circumnavigate them. So in order to go to listing, we need to be in Mainnet already. They're connected things. So sometimes, yes, there are some delays. If it were a classical blockchain, which doesn't use this low power DEX nodes, and it were deployed in data center, that would be no problem. We would have deployed 5, 10 DEX nodes in different data centers, launch blockchain there, and that's it. Spend a few months in testnet and start mainnet, no problem. But that's how all blockchains work, with the exception of X1 eco chain in the world. And because we're trotting the new path that nobody ever trodden before, sometimes in the bushes we see animals that nobody could suspect, and we need to fight them back to make further progress. That is why these delays, unfortunately, are unavoidable. Now people are writing that the launch of blockchain this year, I mentioned it a number of times, that it is our internal deadline. Please don't take my word for it. If in early in January we'll have an AMA session and we're not in Mainnet, and it might be true as well, might happen. Why you promised Mainnet in December? Another important note here, when we're talking about blockchain, it is not simply about sub-blockchain of another blockchain, which can be deployed quickly. We're talking about layer one blockchain. I know whether the person who asked this question realizes what layer one blockchain is and how big an infrastructure it implies and what is needed to be done. to decently enter this market, not simply enter it because we want to. We announce the layer one blockchain, we announce and do something about it. No, we need to do all the prep work. For us, it's like the preparation of the launch is super important because we need to enter the market and the crypto market, and we let in the token. It wasn't, how do I put it? It wasn't a thing like now, because now it's a platform, it's the ecosystem where dozens, hundreds, and thousands of projects will build their ecosystem in our blockchain. Try to imagine that. It is such a big machine that needs to be fully prepped. It's like a big ship or vessel that we need to prepare for sailing. And when we were preparing for that, we wanted to do it as quickly as possible. But when we entered the market, we received the feedback from different other blockchains, from exchanges, from uh, foundations, from crypto experts, and so on. We started to mass this information, and we realized that what they're telling us makes sense, and we need to complete whatever was started as a layer one blockchain to have a decent startup. And you will see it yourself if over the past 1 to 3 months you read all the news and look at all the processes of X1 EcoChain, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So colossal work is being done. I would say it is done 3 times quicker than a normal work in progress. And it's not like we are lazy or something. And all the time we were saying that there is a chance that it might be delayed, but we do everything humanly possible to fit within our internal deadline. And there are some adequate things, some external things, which contribute to the fact that we need to have a delay. And that's quite okay because we are launching layer one blockchain. Then we'll be using it for dozens and dozens of years to make progress, dozens and dozens of years. Binance has been there for 8 years and they're still in development. They're attracting new projects and they're doing exactly what they were doing in the beginning. You can do it forever because it's a self-developing platform where you can onboard clients, add new instruments to the ecosystem, and so on and so forth. So we're doing our best. It's a big journey, a big responsibility at that. And we want to launch a high quality product to the market so that we could be proud of that and be happy with what we have done. Irina, there is not a single movable detail in DexNote. So you could say that the DexNote doesn't have any expiration date. The only um, thing is the reading cycle of SSD memory chip, which contains 1 TB with a maximum load of the cloud. We calculated that it can work for about 7 years. But to achieve this maximum load, we haven't even approached it. When you will see that your Dex node in your personal cabinet shows 100%, all the whole terabyte is used up. Start calculating 7 years. For some people, it can be different. 8, 7, less years. It's like average indicator. Roman is writing when uh, partners are going to be onboarded for scale up of services. They're already being onboarded. We're working on that. Yevgeny, are you planning to set up the messaging to follow Dex rate and when the Dex node is disconnected from the network? It is especially um, important for validators. Yes, we're planning to do that. So far, I cannot give you the exact timeline, but we do have such expectation. There was also a question about DexSafe. Tell us, please, when DexSafe is going to restore its link to the observer, DexChain. And if I'm not mistaken, we have changed it already. We have a few more changes and then we'll roll out the update. Okay, more questions. Yevgeny now. I already read this. Balat, what changes are expected when the listing will be launched? or what changes are possible when listing will be. I think it is a question about 10,000 nodes. When we approach it, then we'll return to that, Ruslan. Will the price of the Dex node will be much higher when you will start selling the second 10,000? We'll tell you later. Okay. And then will I get some X1 coin? The company is bought before the opening of the company. You got so much bonuses that nobody can hope to get even a fraction of that. You already feel much better than others as an early adopter. So basically, the marketing strategy on this dissemination of notes and the onboarding of new clients for network uh, marketing will stop with the 20,000 DEX nodes. Basically, with 20,000, the onboarding of new nodes will stop and the marketing strategy will change, but the services and products will continue to exist and will continue generating revenues based on that. Isabek, guys, how well protected your ideas are, which are implemented in the DexNet? Maybe somebody's stealing them. Interesting question. To be honest, there's not a single protection that can protect an idea from the hacking or stealing. Moreover, there is such a saying that if some unique idea comes to your head, at the same second it came to four other people on this planet. I don't know whether it is true or not, but there is such information. Of course, we're doing everything possible to legally protect ourselves from it. And then it depends on the God's will. Kirill, I bought virtual node when I registered it. On the email that I had, it couldn't be connected. Then I introduced a different one. Now I have two accounts. How do I unite them? Go to the tech support doesn't want to help me. Well, tech support is not going to unite your accounts for sure. And it doesn't make much sense, to be honest. I introduced uh, two more and I have two accounts now. I think tech support is just thinking how to correctly tell you this. I'm less correct, unlike people from the tech support. Is there any work on the development of your own messenger? I fully moved over to the messages that I mentioned already. So I don't know whether it makes sense to develop something when we already have something mega cool. Chechik. Venera's nick is her real last name. It's just that both of them were written with without capital letter. I thought she was hinting at Huracan. It is Huracan wall in Tuva language. Venera, sorry for incorrect answer. Leonid, on X1 blockchain, will be able to store USDT because on BEP20 and other blockchains, I get bad forecasts. You mean USDT is a separate subject. In our blockchain, there will be full integration with USDT. If you would want to keep your USDT in our network, you'll be able to do it here. And in decentralized wallet, you'll be able to keep it there when we integrate it. Integrate X1 network. Thank you. Actually, about transactions, our people are writing here. Hello, the history of transactions on on DexNet X1, DexNet 1 works. If it doesn't work in your case, please write to the tech support. Balat is writing, what changes will happen after the listing? How can you explain the drop in the price of token to 19 from 30? These are two separate questions. Marjan is writing, after moving to another flat, how can I move my node without the loss? There will be a loss anyway, of course. Without some difficult tricks with the system, you will have some losses. How I would do this, I would take mobile Wi-Fi router with the insertable SD card, quickly disconnect the Dex node to the power bank and that mobile device with the internet, and this way would move. And still there will be some loss. There will be the some power surge with the connection, and the power rate will go down momentarily. iPhone man is writing, I cannot read it. You promised that token will be 0.16 in 2026. Uh, I know when. Okay, forget it. We didn't promise anything. Bagheera is writing, guys. We are getting only airdrops, but the node will start making money just like with the DexCloud. Yes, exactly what I was saying long time ago, that we are still in the airdrop stage. Will there be good news before the new year? Of course, there will be good news. The fact that New Year is going to be soon is already good news. Alex is writing, will there be Starlink? And will there be possible to buy validation key? I have a question about Starlink. I was scared. We've never had Starlink in DexNet's. We had Swarm, and it was installed in the first one, in the first 50 DexNet's. After that, we moved over to GSM. We deployed the GSM based on the Swarm opportunities. So we never had Starlink. I read somewhere a fake article about us that we are hooligans, that we're telling everybody that we're connected to Starlink in DexNodes, but we never mentioned it before. Because of the distortion of the information passed from one person to another, sometimes people think that it's unofficial information. No, we've never had Starlink in DexNet. Oksana is writing, diversification always helps. Diversification always helps. It's better to buy both physical and virtual nodes. Exactly, Oksana, I agree with you. I will return back to Alex B about Starlink connection, because other people are listening to us again, and maybe some people think that we have Starlink in our nodes. Where this information can come from? It is one of the Elon Musk. We mentioned that Swarm is connected to Elon Musk, but Starlink, we never worked with them. Vitaly is writing, how will the integration of the new service of Messenger in DexCloud have an effect on DexNet? It will have a maximum effect, maximum good effect. Okay. It's a whole 1 hour long discussion about this. First of all, somebody's getting onboarded, somebody big. And then there will be big pressure on the test, because we haven't done any big test. We are using our own tests. We are putting our own loads. We created a test chat from 800 users who we asked to put a load on that. You'll be surprised, out of 800 users, less than 10 of them really tested it. So that was quite a big disappointment for me. I thought that Why? Our clients, the only thing they're interested in is only make $2 out of one, and all the rest they are not interested. And that really made me sad. 800 testers in the chat, and 10 or 11 to be exact of them really somehow tested it. So the full-fledged tests are going to happen soon, and I'm quite happy with that because as soon as we test all of it, when we put enough pressure on our cloud, when we onboard some big celebrities, then nobody's going to write to us that we're disappointed with you or some other negative opinions. Or if they write it to us, then I'm not going to accept it because at least we did everything possible to make good on all our promises. Dmitry, have you considered the possibility of developing a program like Cashflow Mercury? Of course not. Never. Where you can make money by using DexCoin, then there is a possibility that DexCoin will grow up to 400 USDT quite quickly. And also, as quickly it can go down and by bringing a lot of negative press. Never, guys. Whatever is related to Ponzi schemes sooner or later ends up bad, both for the organizers and the participants. So never ever experiment with that. We are considering only serious projects and companies with whom we can integrate their payment system, but never these stories. I don't want to insult neither Mercury or guys who are promoting it. It's their choice. But ethically speaking, this is what brings more pain and negative press than benefit. Russia already blacked out home internet in a few regions already. Igor, nodes bought in the first 1,000. Are they going to get X1, at least any part of it? Or, Igor, you writing just like Germans do? Or, okay, as soon as we have some information about this, or if a decision is made to do something about it, of course we'll reveal it. But my subjective opinion, maybe I'm wrong, I might be wrong, but those people who bought it among the first 1,000 adopters, they're doing quite good compared to those people who are buying them now. Venera is writing, Venera, I'll try to read your last name correctly, but it is a new word for me, so I'm sorry. Huraganol. Venera Huraganol. Alexei, your genius doesn't allow you to insult me. I'm sorry, Venera. I just read your message. I publicly uh, apologize before you. Why I showed such a reaction? Because I thought somebody is trying to uh, show their hateful attitude to Huracan game. Okay. There is a person who is using some swear words, but he cannot even introduce himself. Okay, move on. Elmira is writing, nobody was insulting you. At least I didn't want to insult anybody, but I understand Venera's sensitivities. She has the right to take it personal because I didn't want to insult, but I reacted to her as if she were a hater. Bagheera is writing, dear shareholders, you're just getting a gift from company as an airdrop, and after it's uploaded to the Dex node, it will start working as a DexCloud starting from 20,000 nodes. There would be a reward pool. Yes, you're right, Bagheera. People are getting an airdrop, let's call it like this. But this is not going to start with 20,000 Dex nodes. It will start earlier. I see none likes aubergines, right? Eggplants. Guys, share Messenger for your note holders. Leonid, it'll come to that. No problem. Moderators, can you please delete the eggplant lover? We're not about eggplants here. Please delete this eggplant lover. What's happening? Okay, we have questions from our community. Ballard is writing, we expect the increase in the value of the token very soon. Here we have questions. Alex and Igor, we still have people who understand that all these delays are only for the better for everybody. Yes, Mikhail, I agree. In fact, there is no idea to create these delays artificially, but there are some things that lead to them. At the previous AMA session, there was a question about DexNet token on TradingView. Can you say something about it? No, unfortunately, nothing as of yet. We haven't reached that yet. Vladimir is writing. We share the same understanding. It must unite everybody. We believe and support you. Can we make anonymous the X1 transactions to make sure that nobody could see the sender and receiver in blockchain? If we use DexSafe, for instance, ZEC coin. By anonymous transactions. Vasily, we need to think about it. I'm not prepared to give you a definite answer right now. It's a joke of the evening. Alexin, Igor, when you will become millionaires, don't forget that I was in Nitrix on the number 3028. Vadim, what will be more expensive, DexNet or X1? Nobody can tell. Hard to say. Hard to say. That's Yanan. Alex and Igor, thank you for your work. Your news has greatly motivated us to buy more Dex nodes. All the best to you. Konstantin, what is the expected price of DexNet and X1 coin? See, you're asking for a forecast, and then you take our promises against us. Konstantin, whatever it is, it will be all. We can use all of it. Now Elon Musk is going to pump up the Starlink sales. Guys, don't react too much to Starlink. Starlink is not a satellite-based internet in its classical understanding, as many people think. What is satellite system Starlink is doing? It's raising internet from Earth and then it drops it back on Earth. There is no magic here. There is no internet pumped up from outer space. I would love it to be so. In other words, it's no different from any other internet. The only difference is that the coverage can be organized there where there is no GSM tower. Alex B. Now we're experiencing internet problems ever so often. It's hard to predict what will happen in future. Also, we have a lot of questions with crypto and certification. Can you share your opinion about this? What can we expect about this? I have my general expectations, but I have no ethical right to publicly talk about this because of two reasons. First of all, I'm not permitted to. Secondly, if something goes wrong, then people will take it against me. Also, that's the first part of an answer to your question. So basically, I cannot tell you what you can expect. You can expect big changes in the world. That's what I can promise you. Next, questions with the crypto and certification. Again, it's happening, and I mentioned it many times that now different countries, one after another, are regulating cryptocurrency and crypto market. Already, officially, it is considered that only the cryptocurrency which is has a exchange rate to the national currency 1 to 1 is considered to be illegal. All the other cryptocurrencies is considered to be in a gray zone. It doesn't matter whether you have crypto licenses or certificates. It doesn't work anymore. The only cryptocurrency, legal cryptocurrency, which is traded 1 to 1 to the national currency, not to the dollar, not USDT, to the national currency. Speaking about DexNet, DexNet has token. Get out of the virtual sector of economy to the real sector of economy. So it's not about us at the moment, and this is a great advantage. This is a huge preparation that we did with Dr. Sanjar. Many people haven't fully realized what we were doing this. They thought, okay, we did it, okay, but that was not the idea because we were looking uh, ahead of ourselves, ahead of the trends. We just did want to be a simple cryptocurrency to fall under the regulation ban. Everything will be under the regulation ban with the exception of CBDC. So the legal platform for that has been prepared already. It's not being activated. They're shutting their eyes on this. They're keeping silent. They're preparing other instruments. But as soon as they prepare all other instruments, then it will happen. And nothing will happen to you, neither a crypto licenses or certificates or anything else, because all of this will be outlawed. Next question about the marketing companies with DexNet. Yes, there will be correction on how to work with the nodes. Thank you. Will there be a possibility to convert physical node to virtual nodes? Because I am experiencing constant problems with the validation node with Dex rate, with a stable 5G internet. Once again, will there be a possibility to convert physical node into virtual one? Because I have constant problems with my validation Dex node. Convert? No, I don't think so. But with the Dex rate going down, why don't you try? It's also a piece of advice you need to understand that between your DEX node and cluster of DexNet, there is a whole chain of middle persons. You might have a stable internet at the user's level when you use internet, chats, and other things. But if you install a file for the download and it downloads for a whole day or 2 days, then I'm sure you will see some um, downtimes. Because of the downtime, it takes so long for it to download. So it's not necessarily related to 5G internet connection. There might be some other disconnections along the way. Marina, if the company which will be deploying Messenger on your DEX node will be paying in hard currency, but not in tokens, DexNet owners, will they be getting a cut from this somehow? Of course, some of the money is allocated to shape up the reward pool or the pool that we use to buy out token. You can see that now what is happening. Now we are having airdrop. Somebody's buying, somebody's selling, but mostly people sell because we have the sources of generation of tokens. So people use this token and go and sell it on the market. If we were not buying it back from the exchange, from that pool, then perhaps we would be asking, we would lose more value. That's why we are buying it back from the pool. So that pool that we'll be using that will have 10% from real DEX nodes, we're preparing the functionality, but so far we're just using this amounts to the pool from which we're buying the DEX node from the exchange. So as soon as we'll be starting receiving more revenues, we'll be buying back more and the price will go up. Alexei and Igor, thank you for your Titanic contribution for the benefit of DexNet development and all partners. I wish everybody success, growth, and development. Vladimir, if earlier I bought for one account more than 10 nodes, is there a possibility to sort it out into a number of accounts so there is no account vulnerability? You don't need to sort it out among different accounts. You already have the vulnerability when you have access to 10 nodes from a single user. 10 nodes is not critical, but if you own, say, 50 or 100 nodes, that would be critical. I guess he ate too many eggplants. You mentioned that I'm saying like a German. Yes, I've lived in Austria for half a year. Thank you for your answer. You're all cool. I also talked like this when I lived in Germany. I ended all my statements with or. Often when people who speak German, they build Russian language sentences based on the German grammar. That's why Igor mentioned it. And Alexei and Igor, I still need to decide. I wrote many days ago, Alexei and Igor, I need to find a decision solution. I had an internet, my internet went down. I don't understand the context of your question, Anna. Either you write a full contextual question or go to the tech support and guys will help you with that. Igor, when will you post new podcasts? Follow my social media. In Twitter, very recently, I posted very recent new one. Edward, Alexei, and Igor, hello. I wish you success. Thank you, Edward. Feeling is mutual. I wish everybody success here, not only us. Elmira, guys, your unbelievable galactic system, which very soon is going to explode the whole world. I thank you and all the program developers for your noble cause. Mikhail, how Mika, European regulator, can affect our ecosystem if we didn't do these manipulations with JAR, didn't move from virtual sector to real sector of economy, then we would be shelved by Mika along with other crypto narratives. We would have to submit for crypto licenses and other things. Alexei, Igor, thank you for your technology. You're decent guys. Good luck. Thank you. Ruslisov, theoretically, we can get some documents from DexNet to open up FOP in Ukraine, pay the tax and have no problems. In theory, yes, but you can do it without FOP. What I mean is that you will not have any legal or economic problems in Ukraine with that. Nobody can sleep calmly in Ukraine now. But you can do this. But for that, on behalf of the Ukrainian FOP, it's not so easy as it seems. You will have to sign a contract with the DexNet company. Then FOP signs a contract with an international company. It might be a different story. Secondly, then you will need to submit to us on the monthly basis the acts to confirm the work done. And based on that, we will give you a DexNet token. Or second option, you'll be in a status, I don't like this word, of a in individual or physical entity, and you will be providing us services based on the public offer agreement, and based on that agreement, you'll be getting payment in form of DexNet tokens for providing the services to us as an individual entrepreneur. And again, you can pay taxes based on that. That tax will be higher than in case of FOP, but then you don't need too much of a paperwork. Unfortunately, it's not going to affect your sleep regime. Ruslan is writing, Alexei, not all DEX nodes were bought with the initial 100 coins per day promo. I understand. Ruslan. Let's return back to that a bit later. Romashka VIP. As far as I know, storing USDT on DexNet is not going to help you to circumnavigate the blocking. Storing USDT on DexNet is not going to help. No, if USDT goes down, all of a sudden, it doesn't matter where you stored it. USDT has its own control, so it doesn't concern us. We'll show interface and everything, but if it is USDT, it's USDT. Talgat is writing, please allow us to replace physical nodes with virtual ones. But we also need physical nodes. If we had only 8,000 virtual nodes, we wouldn't be able to do anything. The technology would be highly vulnerable. It's an important thing that physical nodes, again, keeps the possibility, gives you the possibility to be the validator. Don't say no to physical nodes. That's right. That's an important thing. And now we have a big bias. Earlier, when people were asking whether it will be sale of more validation keys, now we're coming to a conclusion that it's more likely that will happen. But it's more likely to happen after Mainnet under different conditions and only for the holders of physical nodes. For virtual DEX node, will I need some special parameters? Thank you. No special parameters are needed. Nina, thank you very much. If more than 50 nodes on the same account, what do I do with that? Vladimir asks this question. Well, you cannot do anything about this. Don't get lost. Keep them working. Make sure you stay healthy. Go to bed on time, right? Have more rest because all of a sudden buy yourself a ring to monitor your health. If you own more than 50 nodes, you become more valuable for us as a company. We are more interested in your health to keep all those nodes connected, especially if they're physical nodes. We need to finalize. We have been 2 hours live. We take the last 4 questions. Oh, Anna Varajun is asking next question. It was an important one. Okay, we're going to don't stop writing more questions. We're going to finish with the ones we have now, and that's it. At the last AMA session, you answered me that if tech support doesn't help me, you will help me. Anna, please remind me what was your question. I understand that it's an important question for you. You remember it, but I unfortunately receive too many questions and assignments, and I might miss something. Marina. So in other words, if the messenger owner doesn't pay in DexNet token or pays in another currency, 40% of its revenues will go to the owners of DEX nodes. It will be up to your discretion. You will just buy out tokens and put it into the reward pool. No, she meant pool. Yes, exactly, Marina. But okay, forget it. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Anton, I think many of our community would feel it interesting to learn about our token in terms of its health and participation in crypto industry. Maybe a separate AMA session should be organized about this with video from Dr. Sanjar is very important, but still, we'll organize a separate AMA session about this. It will, token deserves a separate one. I joined today's meeting with Alex and Igor. It confirms what I've known for more than 2 years. These guys never let you down. Their decisions are always well weighted and well thought through. I feel protected by them, a lot of maturity, and the support pillar that we can use to go the whole distance. Thank you guys for strategic thinking and confidential leadership. Thank you, Ajan, for your nice words. Actually, what's happening with rings? Have you sold them out yet? We still have 1,000 left. Gennady deal. Those people who were buying nodes before node sale could buy X1 coin during the pre-sale in spring. Now X1 can be acquired only with the purchase of new DEX nodes. That's right. My partner owns 53 nodes on one account. Take good care of your partner. Give him this ring as a gift. Alexei Igor, your calmness charges with energy for the future. Thank you. More gratitude. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I'm not going to read your words of gratitude. We see them. Thank you. It's great reading and monitoring them. Thank you very much. Vera, once again, I apologize for taking you for a hater. So if I get to see you someplace, I will personally apologize before you. Okay, on this note, guys, thank you very much. I thank you, Igor, for your support, for all the work done. Thank you, Alexei, for your answers. I guess all the answers were quite detailed and understandable, and we understand what needs to be done now. A brief summary, the number of DEX nodes is limited, 22,000 DEX nodes. Until they're sold out, we'll be using the previous conditions. All the new nodes sold after that will be following new conditions. It's a great value that you can acquire like X1 coin with the previous condition. So don't wait up, buy into it. See you at the next AMA session, and we'll make you even happier with more news. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye bye. Good evening. And I separately thank Nikolai and our interpreter and the whole team of our supporting team. Bye bye.